PDF, you know, on the internet. Zoning Board of Appeals members should be given a welcome packet, here's your materials. You know, I think that's something that all the different committees, we could do a better job of doing that. Yeah, he at minimum needs a zoning book, and I don't know if there's ever been any kind of MTA resources or anything that's been distributed to.
There's always MTA resources. Should take that back. After an election, for like clerks and treasurers, there's always MTA resources for training. Now, if Jenny gets elected, she's gonna be at a real disadvantage for a year until the next election, to when there'll be another cycle of training for a clerk. Because there's so many things that.
Well, the budget is gonna be renewing in you know, June, right? So, I mean, I guess whoever the new board is, can allot some training if they need to in the budget, but yeah, I mean, I guess I'm talking ZBA here, I don't wanna get into the election stuff.
There's training, for the zoning boards
And I don't even know if it's training, is there a, you know?
Pamphlet, I'd be happy to just say this, these are the rules you follow, these are the 6 things. I understand there's 6 points that if you come in for a variance, we have some criteria, don't you?
That's in our zoning book.
That's in the zoning book.
It's in the zoning book, we just need to make some more.
That's why you should have that, so you know what to look for.
Yeah, what's the
Instead of you
criteria?
showing
I
up
don't
and not
even-
having a clue.
Yeah, I know, if you want a variance, I think the applicant has to meet certain criteria to conform to that variance to be able to be passed.
Yeah.
Correct? And I just need to listen to that stuff.
So if
Or
you guys
something to
can
read.
approve me to make him a book, I will volunteer my time to make him the book. And then I also want to call out again on the website, it says that this is actually for the Zoning Board of Appeals and the Board of Review, that is looking for a chairman and 2 alternates. So my understanding from the last meeting was you said Dwayne wants to stay on both, so we're not looking for a chairman. And we have an alternate for the Board of Review, and we have an alternate for the ZBA. So we're really just looking for 1 alternate for each board, correct?
Right.
Okay, we need to get that updated on the website.
Well, I think we have an alternate on each board now.
Well, it's supposed to be
But-
2.
But, we will need another alternate for Board of Review, because after the next week, I don't think Dwayne is gonna do any more.
But we don't know.
And,
They don't,
which,
Well, tomorrow's the organizational meeting, right? Public meeting for the Board of
Tomorrow.
Review organization, 1 o'clock. And then the next week, there's 2 sessions for the Board of Review. He's gonna be at both of those, right?
Dwayne will be at both of those.
Okay, and you're saying
And,
after that,
and so will, Alicia,
and
but
you're
Paul Main is not going to be.
at any of them?
He's coming tomorrow, but he won't be at the public Board of Review, because he's required to be in Texas for a more potato meeting.
So if Dwayne steps down after March, the next drop dead date, there has to be someone on there by what, July? Is that the next?
By July, but, in the years past, we've never had an alternate, but I'm not saying that another one wouldn't be great.
Well, really,
but-
I think everybody's supposed to be reappointed every 2 years, and I think that was supposed to happen in January, but I don't think it did.
Well, they've been kind of lifetime appointments which is right.
So, do I have this board's approval to make a book?
I was gonna make a motion, you wanna make 2 books, Randy, while you're doing it, and then if we do get another alternate that's already made, or while you're doing it, that's what I'll make a motion of, at least. I was thinking of making more, but if we get done with the master plan, then it'll be all done, and you won't have to redo it. I mean, that's gonna be a year, but I'm saying at least make 2 for now, so Ben has something, the alternate has something for now, and then.
I think, been moved moved, supported, any other comment?
Well, I think, I've made one of those books before and they take some time, so if she's gonna make 2 books, I would suggest this board pays her.
Well, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
give her, give her an extra,
Yeah.
so we should probably have that in our motion, what,
Up to.
I'll add that to your
Yeah, I'm
motion.
trying to think of the dollar amount, I mean, whatever time material.
Been moved, supported, any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Motion opposed, motion carried. Anything else? Public comment?
I'd like to continue on the blight thing a little bit. I have a individual who works for the sheriff's department. And I know Pat was working on some things with the sheriff's department to follow through on blight. This guy was complaining to me over a cup of coffee. He's a deputy. And he goes, I had to go out, and I didn't bring it up. He brought it up. He said, yeah, I'm running all these stupid blight calls now. I go, really? And I don't know how, again, that's why there's good to be a paper trail. So anyway, he drives out on Hillman Road. There's a pile of tires in front of the gentleman's garage. And he had to make the call because no one else made the call. He goes up to the house, knocks on the door, the gentleman walks out and he goes, got a complaint on your tires here. He said, can you get these removed in the next 30 days? I said, yeah, they were behind my garage. I've sold them on Marketplace. The guy's picking them up Saturday. Waste of time. Then he had another one out on, that's why it's important to have pictures and at least talk to these people before we start running them down the road. I mean, what a waste of time.
Is
for
this one in
officer.
Douglas Township?
Pardon?
Is this Douglas
I'm
Township?
not gonna tell you.
Well, if it is,
I-
already
it was
took
really
pictures,
told
talked
me
to
in
the guy and
confidence.
all that, so.
Then he drove out to Honeymoon Heights. Black Ford Mustang sitting in a yard. He whips in and he's getting pushed hard by the sheriff's department to get these cleaned up. He goes in, knocks on the door, a little old lady comes out. And she goes, well, why don't you check the license plate on that? That license plate is, I got insurance on it, I got a license plate, it's all legal. He goes out and brushes the snow off. He goes, yep, you're legal, see you, ma'am. That took him all morning to do those 2. He's got other calls, other officers running in different directions. And he said, what a waste of time. And that's because, and I said, well, how come our townships don't have a plan? I mean, we have a benevolent fund. There's some people out there that, maybe these little old ladies or this older gentleman or something, they just have no way. My son runs a youth group. I've got a trailer. If we knew more about what was going on in these situations, there is resources out there to help some of the people that can't help themselves. And to me, there should be a program that says, okay, this is the case, you got a picture of it, you know what's out there, you know the circumstances, you get the complaint filled out so it's legal, but I would think there should be some type of contact there before you get to that next step to figure out what's going on. Because now we got police running all over the county telling people to get rid of their tires they sold on Marketplace. And it was very frustrating for that officer. Because he said, I got bigger fish to fry than this. People cutting catalytic converters off and pulling, I think, wire out of pivots. But anyway, I just would be nice, I think there should be a program, and I think there's resources out there for people that can't help themselves.
Can I add to your comment?
Please.
Okay, I know at a different township, they were saying there's, places, I think it might have been Maple Valley, it doesn't matter where, but there are programs, like you said, I have no idea what they are, who they are, to refer them to that. Usually, most of the people, they have plenty of time to, clean it up or whatever, voice their opinion. A lot of them do, like the tire on Hillman, they're piled up next to his house, if that's it. And I'm working on that with that guy, and I gave him till the ground thawed a little bit, because the tires are frozen down to the ground and full of water. And, you know, I do work with the people as much as I can. Now, sometimes I can't, like there's some on Honeymoon Heights in a different township, they got rid of all their blight, I can't do anything there. There's a house there with over 100 tires, they're trying to sell them, they're right in their front yard on, I forgot what street, it doesn't matter. But the police went out there, they said, oh, we're selling them, so now I'm getting involved, because you can't have an auto or tire sale place on, suburban residential. You know, that's not for this township, so I do whatever I can do, but then it's limited. I can send them a notice, talk to them. I can't go any farther unless I have, personal information on them to take the course. Then when it comes to that, I'm at a brick wall. There's nothing else I can do. The sheriff's department won't disclose the information I need, which I don't blame them, you know.
But it'd be nice to have that paper with the 6 boxes on it, just like you do on a variance.
Yeah.
Item 1, item 2, item 3, once they're all checked off and we got no response, then you can send the police. But I think there's ways of cleaning this stuff up quicker if there's a process.
Yeah.
Instead of just throwing mud on it. If there's a process that's fouled, I think you can probably have it figured out by the time you get to the end of the paper what's going on.
Yeah.
Instead of guessing.
We need to have the planning commission, like me and Larry was talking, to put that in the book, the zoning book, so I can do that. And tell the people, hey, you need to fill out the form, I can mail it to them, whatever. And then I'll have that on file with their name and signature on it, and,
And then
keep that
what
on.
processes we have to follow to get it cleaned up.
yeah.
Cause there is, I think it could be handled. And again, give you resources where you can drop a dime and say, hey, I've got an elderly gentleman that needs help. We did one in 6 Lakes, right on 46. We sent the kids over, they had it all cleaned up in a day.
I heard Habitat for Humanity can possibly do it, that's just hearsay, I don't know.
I don't know if they, but we've got a strong, ministerial group here in town, and they'll all help.
Yeah.
With the food pantry, we got all that going on, so you know, there's things that we'd like to put these kids to work.
Now, we would, you know, have to have that number on there, so that people can give them a call. And, then that, you know, that'd be
Yeah,
great.
once you've got a plan, if you wanna put in there, you know, local resources for cleanup, then we can submit it and give you the numbers.
I'll be back. Pat, I forgot to ask you,
I don't have, no, we haven't done anything. Our second meeting of the month was housekeeping from the first meeting, and I think I briefed you on all those things, so I don't have anything new. I don't wanna take up a bunch of time.
I didn't mean to.
I guess I'll put in a plug for dispatch. I'm on the authority board, and Amy's as frugal and diligent about collecting money and spending the money appropriately at dispatch as any department head, and Stanton is. The thing that she did tell you about how that surcharge money's collected, it's really up to the loyalty or the honesty of the vendors to pay on time. So she figured out a few years ago that out of that list of all the Verizon's, AT&T's, all those vendor companies that are supposed to turn that surcharge over to her after they collected on their phone bills, that there were several of them that were delinquent, and some that were delinquent for quite a period of time. And if it hadn't been for her diligence and working on that and calling them on the carpet to pay up, I don't know how long they would have gotten away with it or went on without turning her money over. So the point is, she's super conscientious about making sure that money that you pay on your device comes to dispatch, and she holds her feet to the fire to make sure on a monthly basis that they do that. And it's really a well-run operation. We had a ice rescue call over the weekend, and dispatch is just vital in coordinating all the agencies on something like that. So really an important thing to get out and vote
just have a little question, this is kind of about the blight. Does our ordinance explain what blight is?
Yes.
What is blight?
You want, I can look it up and tell you.
Is one person's opinion of blight, I can go out and use a piece of farm equipment, sit there for 10 years, now it's not blight?
One thing is discarded items, I believe, like lumber and all, it's, I'll tell you in a minute. You can ask another question, about not mine. It's a long, it's a list.
He's got that book in his house.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, he's Brandy's husband.
Oh, okay.
And
Larry, that's.
That doesn't matter, my public question is what is blight? Because you guys keep calling out blight, but nobody can say, this is blight, this is blight. You can't say it. I see all kinds of used tires around the neighborhood, and this guy, one guy you're talking about, he's got used tires. So where does the shoe fit for that guy versus the other people? That's my confusion, Larry.
Yeah.
I don't look in that book, because that's not my book, thank you.
Well, anyway, there was another comment.
Oh, I read that article in the paper. I decided to go for a drive myself because I couldn't for the life of me fathom why Jordan, who has the most desirable lot on the lake, maybe in Lakeview, except for Miranda maybe, just kidding. But I couldn't understand why, if he did turn them in, he would care what that area looked like. I didn't think it was that bad. I drove all over the township, and it's everywhere if you wanna really solve this problem. But I did think maybe they were being picked on, because I thought, if you really did turn them in, I thought, why? Why would you care what's out on Gravel Ridge off of 46, driving towards, I don't even know what the end road is. I just couldn't imagine that. So I thought, I wanted to bring up, if we're gonna be the type of community that calls on people to turn them in, let's do it for everybody. I do feel like these people were picked on, I don't even know them. But when I heard that, I decided to find out for myself. And it is something all over the place. It's not just, and I'm sure when you signed up for this job, it wasn't gonna be this bad or this ongoing thing for blight, and not having any guidelines other than maybe small ordinance. I haven't read the ordinance myself, but I just find the whole thing something that needs to be looked into. We need to come up with something once and for all and be consistent with everybody. I thought I heard that it was started out at $75 and went to 500 and something. I don't even remember the whole story. I could go back and watch the video from the last meeting, but I don't know, I'm just gonna say, everybody should do their own research and find out, and we deserve answers to these questions. Why would somebody go out on Gravel Ridge and turn one house in or property when it's all over the place? It's very concerning. I just wanna say that.
Thanks for coming up again. So just to clarify, and I guess I need Dave's opinion on here, which I've talked with you before, our breaking of zoning is all because we're not a farm. And in Cato Township, you have to have 10 acres to have a farm. We only have 6. Now, we have one of the oldest farmhouses in Cato Township. We have very old barns, a silo, that's breaking zoning. I'm not sure where that lot split was approved. That one of the 150-year-old farming houses that had been farmed in for that time, when that was allowed to be 6 acres and not, the minimum should have been 10 acres. Obviously, it's a farm. But our storage of material, our burn pile, I'm gonna be breaking zoning here pretty soon when we buy 20 yards of poop, because I'm not approved for that without being a farm. And it would be great, and I guess I probably should bring this up at the planning commission, that we should find, we practice hobby farming, but we would still like to, go the next step and get better at it. But as of right now, we can't own probably 10% of the animals we have, according to the zoning. We have 50+ chickens, I think we're only allowed 12. We only allow 2 dogs, 1 horse, 1 cow, 1 pig, or only one of those, right? We can't have a pig and a horse. We have over 10,000 square foot in storage of farm barns that are meant for animals, they're built for animals, they house animals. But according to zoning, we're not allowed to farm. I would hope, and there are some that still have smaller land than us that practice farming, and our zoning should fit to that. Someone goofed up somewhere down the line with those lot splits, that should not have happened. And most of it, nobody's paying attention to it, so, as long as nobody complains, nobody cares. But now everybody's complaining, and we gotta go by the book. So I don't know if we're supposed to get a variance, if the zoning actually has to be changed, what it would be for us to comply. But from what I understand, we are complying for a farm, but without being a farm. So I'd like to ask the board, how do we become a farm? If the variance is the option, or does the zoning have to be changed to fit our farm that's not farm?
I don't think anybody has ever been,
We got 2 $500 fines.
Picked on, picked on.
We'd be fined if we were a farm, because we can store material as a farm.
So you
A
can't do a
farmer's
use
exempt
variance.
from that.
You can't do a use variance, according to the state law, unless I have paperwork at home for
5
that.
acres of freedom of.
They don't even, well, they might say that, but I'm talking about a use variance. You can get a dimensional variance, but you can't get a use variance, like saying, hey, I wanna change the zoning book so that I'm classified as a farm, which, but you can't do that because of the state. I think back in, I don't know if it was 2006, if you didn't have a use variance before that, and I couldn't find any record of this township having it, you can't, the state law says you can't do it. I have no idea why, it's ridiculous if you ask me,
But if the zoning was changed to 5 acres.
then you could do it, yeah, if the board changed it, or then it would be, but you can't ask for a variance to have that would be considered a use variance, because you're using it as a farm, but some of the laws are ridiculous, but that's how it is. I do have a list of things, if you want me to read them all off, what's considered unwholesome substance, which is like, it's got a fair amount of things in there. Boxes,
I would
wood.
appreciate it, cause them books are not mine, by the way.
Okay, boxes, barrels, waste wood, lumber, scrap metal, automobile body, or other materials shall be accumulated, any person so as to provide insects, rats, rodents, harborage. And then, another page here, just says no unwholesome, substance as hereafter, defined shall be deposited, buried, stored, dumped, or accumulated by any person in any body of water or on or under the land, private property, public property, township, unless such place has been designated as a public dumping ground by the township, or unless such substance is housed in a completely enclosed building and safe and sanitary manner. For the purposes of this section only, the term unwholesome shall be defined to mean any trash, garbage, tin can, automobile body, junk, vehicles, trailer body, junk, hazardous compounds, waste, offal, refuse, rubbish, food, containers, bottles, crockery.
So in other words, I appreciate that, Dave, thank you. So in other words, everybody's property pretty much can be blight,
You're exempt
Yeah.
if you're a farmer.
Now, see,
except.
I've never went around and saw something. I wasn't hired to look for,
No, I'm
Yeah,
not,
but
I'm not going after
somebody-
you, Dave, it's the point of somebody's opinion of blight, it it can be the minutest little thing, and you just read it, it can be the minutest little thing. And I think as a board should come up with something to look at, somebody being turned in for blight, they go out there and look at it, and then they should determine if it's blight or not, or you should, or there should be a little further than this, because what you just read, anybody and everybody can be turned in except for farmers.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, they're exempt.
Right.
Believe it. There's something about that in there,
So
some other
it's
section.
a rule I think we really all should look at, because it needs to be changed.
Michael, I just wanna recap here, so Dave, you said it was Jordan who reported us.
Yes.
Jordan doesn't remember it.
Correct.
Then Larry, you recapped that and said maybe it was me, right? I just wanna make sure I'm getting this straight, because I am really confused, on
I
where
don't-
the actual
I
complaint
don't know
came
who
from.
called, I don't know who told me, or to look at it.
So you just typically go driving by down the gravel roads, backcountry gravel roads, off of a random
I
complaint?
wasn't out, there was, we had one real bad situation that was close to you there. And I went out to look at that, and somebody, I don't remember who it was, asked me to look at the monitor farm, her place, and I
Farm.
drove by.
Farm.
And I asked Dave, at the time, I think I was more concerned about the amount of vehicles you had there, whether they were all, licensed vehicles or not.
Just don't matter if you're a farm.
But, from now on, I'll, insist on a written report.
So then you were the one that went and reported to Dave that
I
you
asked
needed to
Dave
be
to
taken
drive
care of?
by.
Okay, because then after that, when I called Dave to get some clarification on what specifically needed to be moved, he had to get back to me. So I'm just curious if this works like, did you get back to Larry and say, hey, Larry, what was it that was really bugging you when you drove by? I need to know what needs to be moved to comply to your standards. I don't know if anybody else feels a little confused about the situation, but I know I do. I want you guys to know that the amount of stress that situation put me under is ridiculous. And you guys should feel bad about it. I mean, it's absolutely insane how irresponsible this situation was handled. Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
And the fact that you guys are still just piggybacking, not taking responsibility for any of it, it really, really confuses me. It does.
Yeah, the reason
And,
originally, well, go ahead.
no, it's okay.
Yeah, the original reason was when, I didn't see it, the grass, or, I don't wanna say
Rotational
grass.
grazing, yeah, we
It was
let
high
it grow long and
I
then the
drove by
animals
and
clean
didn't
it
see
up. It's
anything,
amazing.
but,
We
well, that,
let nature
yeah.
take.
Is there a grass
Of course.
height? That would
Yeah,
be
is
new
it
to me.
grass height?
That'd be
No.
nice.
Not
No,
here.
no grass height, okay.
That's not your well, never mind.
Oh, see, no, that is our property. Tom Black's been, harvesting it for the last few years, and then, that started some
Along
of
the
this, when
road,
we
I
took
thought
back
that was-
half our land
Yeah,
from
road right
Chris
away.
Rader. Yeah, I think people got butthurt, but, nope, that is our land. Wasn't an issue when other people were using it, but surprise, surprise.
I'm not done with my public comment, though. I just wanna remind you guys that, okay, so crazy statistics. Here in America, 1 out of 2 women will end up with cancer. 1 out of 3 men will end up with cancer. That's just a subtle reminder that you have absolutely no clue what the person next to you, or behind you, or anywhere around you is dealing with. Do you know what's really detrimental to health? Stress. You know what stress can do to people? You know what it can manifest, what it can trigger if you have those cells in your body already? I just want you guys to put this into perspective for next time you feel the need to report oh, I don't like that, I think I'm gonna bring this to the next level. I hope that you guys think outside of the box. Lord willing, I wake up tomorrow morning and I'm 33 years old, but I have no guarantee of that. So I hope that everybody just appreciates their life in general, and each day you wake up and you thank God that you're here breathing another day, and you really consider about the pettiness. Okay, so much pettiness has been going on. It's just unnecessary. That's it.
What's good about this meeting here tonight? What's good about this meeting tonight, every township, I'm gonna bring this up, and hopefully they'll agree and say, okay, bring this meeting up tonight and let them know that's what's gonna happen everywhere else, cause that's the way all the townships work right now. They go by, word, and if, there hasn't been anything for years where a neighbor was complaining, they were like a dispute between each other. That hasn't happened in quite a few years.
So
and
it
that was-
kind of contradicting
Neighbor
yourself,
used to
because
talk to
after the
neighbors.
first time, and I double checked with you, I said, Dave, I wanna make sure that we're gonna, you know, are we gonna get targeted again, are we gonna turn around and get reported again? And you said, I will not do another report unless somebody physically puts their signature on a piece of paper. But your words out of your mouth, you said, I can't go around targeting people, that's why I need a signature.
Yep.
You know, a paper trail, but it seems like none of this, it doesn't work that way, it didn't work that way, right? That was just what you were telling us.
And the other
that-
townships or this
Yeah,
township?
this township, my situation specifically. Yeah,
But
so
it
you guys
is,
don't need a
since
signature.
yours, I've never had any verbal complaints.
Okay, so ours was
Since then.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
Alright.
Yeah.
but now I'm gonna make sure the other townships, so this won't happen again, I'm gonna bring it up to all the supervisors, and
Paper trails are
hopefully
really
they'll do something about it. I can't make them do anything, I can suggest it, and it's up to the planning commission to do something about it. So, I see the problem now, you know, of course, you know. So,
That's why for 2 years, I didn't file the FOIA act, because I didn't wanna know who turned us in, cause I knew it would just kind of fuel an anger, and honestly, it just left me with more questions than answers, because I still don't know who's targeting us.
well, I don't target anybody,
Yeah, I know,
it's not
oh,
me.
yep, you've made that clear, but the supervisor hasn't, I guess I'm confused about that. Typical to go out and drive by. Anyhow,
One last time, any other comment?
Yeah, I don't really know for sure, but it seems to me if the Quakos are zoned ag, maybe they will rezone ag residential. But I think that, I don't think it matters how big your property is in the state. If you're zoned ag, you can, claim right to farm, I think. You might wanna check into that if you haven't.
that's where
Local
we're
zoning
looking for.
trumps it, and it
Oh, it
should.
does, local
It
zoning
should.
does, okay,
Yes, the
I
more
didn't know
local,
that.
that's where the power should.
I didn't know that. And then I also, wondered, probably not supposed to ask a question of another person, are you gonna have signs that we can put out in our yards?
We do not have signs, we gotta get, it's May second, it's kind of a short notice to
Yeah.
get it done, because our surcharge ends next year,
Okay,
but,
cause I'd be willing to put a sign in my yard.
nope, we have a bunch of flyers we're doing, and
Okay.
there's gonna be articles in the paper,
Okay,
getting around to meetings and sending, flyers out to the elderly community, getting in with the Veterans Association